The Titans TV show is continuing to take shape. Entertainment outlets are reporting that Alan Ritchson and Minka Kelly have been cast as Hawk and Dove, recurring characters in the upcoming show that's going to be on DC's digital streaming only service that debuts in 2018. For those of you who may not be familiar with the characters, Hawk and Dove are a duo, a crime-fighting duo, kind of like Power Man and Iron Fist and others. Hawk and Dove is another one of the famous, two tag team superheroes in DC Comics. Originally, the first Hawk and Dove, they appeared in 1968, I think written and drawn by Steve Ditko, and they were a brother team of Hawk, who was Hank Hall, and Dove, who was Don Hall, his younger brother. And they were Hawk and Dove because Hawk was more militaristic and aggressive and conservative, and Dove was more pacifistic and liberal, and they would, work together to solve crimes, and they would have different approaches. Whereas Dove was, the good cop, and Hawk was the more like hardcore bad cop, and that was their dynamic. And they were, semi-popular, like I guess minor characters in the DC pantheon in the comics for a while. And then in Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985, the writers and editors made a decision to kill off Dove, who was one of the brothers. And then later on, when DC rebooted around that time, they replaced that male Dove with the female Dove, Dawn Granger. And that's probably whom Minka Kelly is playing, the female Dove, who is the second Dove. There have been multiple Hawks and Doves in DC Comics, but the most famous ones are the two brothers I just mentioned, Hank and Don Hall. And Hank Hall, he's continued staying the Hawk, and Dawn Granger. Those are the two most famous Hawk and Dove pairs, and it's not surprising to me that they picked one of them to be in the show. For the most part, Hawk and Dove have more physical superpowers. They're, heightened speed, strength, stamina, that sort of thing, with Hawk being a lot more of like a burly, brawny kind of tank kind of character, and Dove being more of like the athletic, lithe kind of character. But both have, enhanced speed, strength, that sort of thing. And I think Dove can fly. I know Dawn Granger, the female Dove, can fly. I don't remember or know if the male Dove, the original brother of Hawk, could fly too. But he also would have the more, athletic kind of sort of thing going on too. Now, this male and female Hawk and Dove, they're a couple in the comics. They didn't start out as one, but as time grew on, they became more romantically involved. And I think they're going to be a couple on the show. Now, in the show, they're not going to be main characters, main cast members. They're going to be recurring in this first season. And then in the second season, they have an option to become series regulars. And they may even get their own spin-off, which would fit because Hawk and Dove have had multiple ongoing and miniseries in DC Comics. So it's fitting that it's obvious that people think that they are strong enough to support their own stuff going on in the TV show realm, even though they were never really, none of their series lasted long in the comics. So far, the main cast members of Titans are Nightwing, played by Britton Thwaites, Starfire, played by Anna Diop, or I think it's Anna Diop, actually, I was pronouncing it wrong, and Tegan Croft as Raven. I've made other videos about those three people already, and now I wanted to continue my Titans coverage by talking about Hawk and Dove. We can expect more casting announcements to come very soon. I expect most of them to be, main Titans members. I mean, we can't just have three people as a super team, not for a team like the Titans. There's probably going to be a Beast Boy announcement and maybe one or two other people to round out the main team. It'll be interesting to see which Titans they pick and who they pick to play those roles. But we shouldn't have much longer to wait because so far all of these Titans announcements have been coming pretty much back to back, pretty close to each other. So we will find out very soon. There's lots you can play with there. The two characters that get their powers from the Lords of Chaos and Order, they're mystical superheroes. They say the name Hawk or say the name Dove, and they are transformed and they get superpowers and they fight crime together. And there's a lot of yin and yang, light and dark. When you're in a situation, do you take a more pacifistic approach or do you take a more, aggressive, hard approach? And that's kind of a lot of the themes that would play in the Hawk and Dove storylines between the two characters, and they could definitely use this in the show going forward. And I'm excited. This could be great. Hawk and Dove, it does present a lot of, moral dilemmas, potential moral dilemmas for the characters in the show. You know, do they take the more aggressive stance like Hawk, or do they take the more high-minded approach like Dove? And as the two characters, maybe there's friction between the two of them that could filter out between, you know, other Titans members. It could be a good, you know, ripe mind for the writers to get a lot of cool material from for the show. My only concern is I think it'd be cool if they had started with the two brothers, you know, having one be the older, more aggressive brother, and the other one, the younger brother, be, I guess, the more like high-minded, ideal one. I think they could play a lot with the whole sibling relationship, but they decided to go, you know, with the more romantic angle, male-female kind of perspective, and they could get a lot out of that too. I just think it'd be cool if we could see what, you know, a male Dove could bring to the table. But, you know, they went with, you know, Minka Kelly. And she'll be great. Dawn Granger's a great character, and Minka Kelly's a good actress. She, you know, if you don't know where she's from, she's been in a lot of movies and TV shows, but she's probably most famous for being on Friday Night Lights. And as for Alan Ritchson, when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy, he's most famous probably for playing Raphael in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live-action movies. And he was also Aquaman in the Smallville TV show for a while. And he was also, this is his non-sci-fi role, he was on Blue Mountain State. I think he played this guy named Tad. I didn't watch Blue Mountain State, but I've heard of it and read about it. And he's also, just this year, I think he was on some miniseries on the Sci-Fi Channel called Blood Drive, which was like this kind of B-movie, future apocalyptic show about cars that eat people. I don't know, I didn't watch it, so I shouldn't talk that much about it. But he was on that show. It was like a live-action sort of thing. And so those are the actors who were on the show. And this is interesting because, you know, Alan Ritchson was teased and hinted as one of the people. I think he outright said at one time he was going to play the live-action Shazam in the movie. But now that he's playing something on a character on DC TV, I don't think he's going to be playing Shazam anymore. I could be wrong, but I think we have the answer to that now with him being cast in a TV show. I don't think Warner Brothers would allow the same person to be in a TV show and a movie at the same time, in the same kind of, you know, DC world. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to watch me make more videos about DC TV shows and movies, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye.